Hey kids, JD here. Today I'm going to talk to you about Tadka, which is an Indian finishing oil. What that means is that you heat an oil up, put some kind of spice seeds into it, and then allow the flavor to permeate. And you can add other things too. For example, one kind of Tadka might use sesame oil and a mixture of spice seeds, things like onions, fennel, other flavors like that. Another one might use coconut oil and cumin. Now, the interesting thing about Tadka is it varies from region to region, and even inside the region it varies. So you might have Tadka that uses very hot chilies you might have in one region. You might have a Tadka that uses ginger, but not garlic. You know, it's a lot like garam masala, where it's almost like every family has their own mix. Well, they have their own Tadka too. But the nice thing about this is when it's done, you can add some of this to food and it just kicks up the flavor. Kind of guides it in a certain direction. So let me show you one Tadka. This, for example, is a Tadka from something called Panch Phoron, which is a mixture of, at least I think that's how it's pronounced, I don't know. But it's a mixture of seeds are used. I think there's onion seeds in there, I think there's fennel, probably a couple of other things. Down the sesame oil. So what did I do? Heat the oil up, not too hot, want it less than boiling, but heat it up, put some of the oil in, the warmed up oil, into a mortar and pestle, and crush it up as much as you can, which, to be fair, is a little honest with that. With cumin, it was pretty easy, but with Panch Phoron, it's pretty hard. But heat it up, and then once you think you've gotten it crushed up pretty well, pour it back into the main pot, right? Let that go for a few minutes. Again, sub-boiling temperature. Take it out. You notice I didn't strain the seeds or anything out. And the reason for that is, over time, it will actually gain more flavor. You could grind it if you want to, into something. I had to grind it into a fine powder because I wasn't getting none of the flavor was really escaping the seeds because they weren't fresh, they were imported and they were dried out. But where you are, they may be fresher and it may not be a problem. Another version of this that I do and that I like a lot is coconut and cumin, and then you just add ginger and garlic to it. Now the problem with this is I don't know if I'm using the right kind of coconut oil because it turns into a solid block. I don't know if it's absorbing any additional flavors. But there, all I did again, heat the oil up, ginger, garlic, sliced into small pieces, put that in, add some oil to the cumin and the mortar and pestle, grind it up, add it all back in, give it some time for the ginger and the garlic to suffuse. Then what I did with that stuff is put it in a blender, hot, and then let it blend around. And what that did is it kind of, rather than having large chunks, you got a bunch of small chunks in there. And the flavor is actually really good. It's just a pain in the rear end to do. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's solid. Now there are other kinds of coconut oil. This is good too. We'll just take a little swig, not much. The combination of spices, you get kind of an onion, but also kind of a licorice, which is an unusual flavor for us to say the least. But apparently this is a thing. And I imagine using it on different foods might yield different results. So we're going to try that. When you're done with these, store them in the fridge. That's where this becomes a problem because then it becomes a solid block. Now there are kinds of oil that don't have the solids in them. Maybe you use that instead. Who knows? But when it has the solids in it, what it does is there's a subtle sweetness to it, along with the cumin flavor, along with anything else. Proportions, I'm adding 3 tablespoons to a cup of oil. And then anything after that is a bonus. So 3 tablespoons of spice seeds, 1 cup of whatever oil you want, and whatever after that. Like the last round of the ginger garlic, I added a lot of garlic and some ginger to it. There's no right or wrong. So that's it. If you like the video, go ahead, hit the like button. If you don't like it, go ahead and hit the like button anyway to show what a great human being you are. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave some comments below. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.